My last video, I did a rather long tirade, if you want to call it a tirade. It wasn't really much of a bitch session, I should say, about the Panzer III-4. I still suggest it. But anyway, moving on, we are looking at the next heavy tank inline at Tier 5, and this is the VK 3001H tank made by Henschel. Alright, now, I've played enough matches in this to get a general feel of it. Obviously, my crew is not trained well enough, and I would imagine once I get this crew, if I want to keep this tank higher, the tank is going to work a lot better. Because I'll tell you right now, having the crew where it is, it's okay. But when you start getting to your first skill, and your first skill's almost done, it's like the tank transforms. Everything on the tank is better. I struggled like hell in my VK3001P. It was slow, it was junky, I hated every second of it. Now, damn thing can move around really quick, fire fast, load fast, and this is just after the first, almost halfway fully trained on the first skill. The tank did a complete turnaround. I can't imagine what 3 skills are going to do for the tank. And that's what I think is going to be the case with this tank here. It's got the potential to be a heavy tank, but again, it's not a brawler. Some tanks are straight up brawl tanks. KV-1s, you are a brawler. There's no lying there. It's KV-1 tank, it's a brawler. It fights. It wants to get in your face and make you eat its gun, and then jam a shell down your throat, and hopefully it explodes and kills you. That's a KV-1. You know, that's a heavy tank. It can be a heavy tank. If you're a light tank and you're confronted with this, and you got nowhere to go, you're gonna hate life, and life's gonna be short. All right, now, at first when I got this thing, I was skeptical about the guns, and the thing doesn't come into really good guns until you get to this gun, the WoT 0725 75 7.5 centimeter gun. This thing is a pretty badass gun. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. Yeah, I've punched through things that are way over my pay grade, and surprised I actually have punched through it. And when I knew that for a fact that I couldn't, just by stats, in some weird miraculous event, I punched through it and did damage. I've shot, I don't know how. See, look, shells penetration 118. I've almost from 118 to almost 196 shell penetration. Do you see the massive amount of numbers between 118 and 196? That is huge. But somehow, that's just for penetration. You look at the shell damage, 101 to 169. Another giant mass of, 68 points or so against what it normally does. But I'm willing to bet I still can roll double-digit numbers. Now, I don't use heat on this thing at all. Heat on this, I don't see the point. It seems that most AP rounds on German armor is the way to go, unless specified otherwise. I don't load APCR normally. If I can't punch through the... Basically, with APCR, it's giving the player a chance to punch through as a last chance, you know. Some tanks absolutely need it. DW2, PZB2 over here, they need the extra oomph because their guns suck that bad. But if you're going against other tanks, and the tank is really 2 tiers higher than you, and you really want to guarantee the shot goes through you load up APCR. I just don't justify people spamming APCR because they can and they want to, and they're 2 tiers still higher than you, and they're in a heavy tank, and they're still blasting APCR you. That's stupid. They're just there to do that to not win the game, but to piss players off. That's all it is. I mean, that's that about APCR, but this gun I have found punches way over its pay grade, and it's impressive. It's impressive. The tank itself, slow. It's not breaking any land speed records, that's for sure. I think before this thing can meet halfway through a map, a Panzer 1C could have gone through the map 4 times over. It's not as slow as, let's say, the AT-2 British tank destroyer, or the Churchill, or the Matilda, or even, God love it, the TOG-2. I absolutely love seeing the TOG-2 on the battlefield. Jingles is absolutely right. Every time I see one, I just brings a smile to my face. And the thing has absolutely shit armor. It does, but just seeing this gigantic freaking thing driving on the field is like, it's funny. And the thing is, it doesn't have armor. You can punch holes through this thing all day long on the TOG and have fun doing it. You just pray the TOG doesn't turn around and shoot back, because it does have a rather painful gun. TOG is almost, how would I explain it? A fun tank that everyone can take a shot at. And get some points. It's almost like a free point tank, you know? Except for when you're facing it front on. If you got a competent player in a TOG, it can be a problem. It can. It can. It has the potential to be much of a problem. But anyway, I just love seeing a TOG. Anyway, back to the VK over here. This 30-ton first make of a Henschel tank is it's not bad. It's not phenomenal. The reason I'm going through this is obviously I want the next tank. That tank is right here, the VK 3002M. This right here is the mouse. Not the mouse, oh, excuse me, the Panther. This is the Panther, not the Panther at tier 7. I mean, look, I'll even go here, show a preview here, because this is what I do want to end up getting with this tank here. This is the Panther. There's no questioning this. You know, let's put the best suspension on it, best turret, best gun. This is the Panther. Look it up. Compare this screenshot to a picture of a real life one. I cannot argue with anyone. This is the Panther. The stats are wrong on it for a Panther, but I'll get into all that maybe on another review or something separately once I get this vehicle. But my goal is to get this guy, because I like the Panther, and the Panther is one of the best tanks, in my opinion, of World War II. And this joke of the Panther at tier 7, it's a joke. It really is. And you'll see why. It's one specific thing is a joke. See, here it is right off the bat. Let's put the proper suspension on it. Put the turret on it. And we'll even put the best gun on it. And this is what I'm talking about. Look at this fucking gun. Look at this. This gun is practically the length of the entire tank itself. And I don't know what else to say. This thing has the nickname of Lance. And you can see why. This thing looks like a freaking Lance. And it's too long. It's too long for a Panther. It looks awful. But again, this is not about this tank. I won't be getting that Panther. This is about the... Where is he again? The VK. It's about this tank. Would I suggest it? Well, if you're going that line, you have to do it. You don't have an option. The earlier grind's kind of rough. I'm still trying to figure it out, but I think the tank will come to its self once you get a competent crew in it, you know. It's not going to sit there and take shot after shot from a KV. I mean, if you're taking shot after a KV, you're playing the game completely wrong. Peek out, shoot, hit, run away. It's pretty much guerrilla war tactics, and that's World of Tanks is. Guerrilla war, guerrilla war, guerrilla war. Alright, let's see. Equipment, vents. If you're seriously thinking about wanting to keep this, vents, absolutely. Gun rammer, absolutely. Gun laying drive, absolutely. Camo net, what? Are you kidding me? You're gonna put a camo net on this thing? This thing has horrible camouflage. I mean, it even says concealment right over here. 3. Even when moving, it's got 3. When stationary, it has 7. Come on. That's a joke. And that's assuming you're hiding behind a bush. That's what I think that's what those numbers mean. It's just sitting out in the middle of an open field. You don't even have 2. Jesus, and when you're moving and you don't have any concealment, you have like not even 1. This thing's not a hide in a bush game. This is supposed to be helping other heavies. Possibly almost like a medium tank roll. Possibly. I mean, angling your armor you can get okay, but that's another thing I have not mentioned that bothers me. This tank is directly after, I believe, the Durchbursch. See? DW2. And this, I hate to say it, has the same armor. 50 all the way around. The only thing that was increased was the turret. That's it. If anything, put this thing hull down and fight. That's the only thing I can think of it. I mean, this is basically the Durchbursch's armor. It's mostly not the same graphics of it and whatnot, but 50 all the way around at tier 5, you're asking for trouble. If you really are trying to play this like a brawling heavy, like a KB1, you're really asking for trouble, because it's not going to take much to punch through the armor of this thing. And wow, is all I have to say. That's probably one of the weakest things. You know, at one point I suggested the armor was okay, but okay is still kind of a strong word for this, because it's just 50 armor, people. 50. And that's not really going to stop much. You know, for someone that was, for me just going down, briefly talk about tanks and going along the lines, in the earlier videos I was just zipping through without a prompt with the lower tier tanks. I'm slowing down a bit, actually, talking about these middle tier tanks, you know. A little more respect, I guess, for them than lighter tier ones. I mean, armor isn't too much of an issue in earlier tiers, where view range and concealability is what you have to worry about in lower tier tanks, you know. When you start getting heavy tanks, you're at tier 4, I think, 3 or 4, I think the first heavy tank starts to show up. I mean, yeah, it's, you gotta give a little more respect for the vehicle, you know. Anyway, the next time I'm going to discuss what tank is next that I have played. Yes, Panzer IV-H. Yes. The epitome of the top line Panzer IVs in the game. Well, at least the normal lines, that is. And I'm sure that's going to be at least a minimum of 1 full video, possibly even 2. Though I'll try to keep it down to 1. I mean, 15 minutes is 15 minutes. Well, anyway, until then, enjoy what you're playing. Hopefully RNG blesses you and you don't suck out too bad missing your targets or getting low damage rolls. I wish you the best. Talk to you later. Bye.